Do you also, I mean, you're a member of the opposition party. I think it's worth mentioning that. Do a lot of people in the opposition party share your views, or you're just different?
Our Progressive Congress is not opposed to a national conference. Our leader is just saying that you got to be very careful. This looks like a great gift. I mean, evidently, and I'm not saying this because I belong to the opposition, if you do popularity rating of the present government, it's not looking good. And therefore, they believe that it's a strategy for him to show up his popularity. APC is saying that, yes, we are for conference, but it must be sovereign national conference. 2, decisions and outcome of such a conference should not be passed on to the National Assembly. Which
they have also, you know, left open to members of the conference.
It may well be if the opposition hadn't publicly opposed the conference and also marshalling its reasons for opposing it, they probably wouldn't have come up with that.
So I mean, this is a plus because they're listening.
That's it. Yes, there's a window. Because, I mean, in the modalities, government is saying that they expect the conference to come up with legal framework, procedures, and options that will lead to integration of the outcome and decisions of the conference into the constitution. Whether it's going to be a brand new constitution, I don't know. But there's a window for us to subject whatever the people decide, or representatives of the people, what they decide, to a referendum. That is imprimatur. That's what is done in all jurisdictions that I know. I mean, Egypt has just done its own. So we must do it. And then, the sovereignty, they say, belongs to the people. Section 14, subsection 2 of the Constitution is clear that sovereignty lies with the people of Nigeria. And all institutions derive their powers and authority from the people. Therefore, people who erroneously have been saying that they are sovereign, I mean, I've told them, your idea of sovereignty is archaic, is obsolete, and cannot operate within a democratic environment.
You know, it's interesting that you've successfully managed to deviate from the question. I was just wondering, you know, because Senator Okunomu talked about criticisms, you know, for this particular conference, you know, and he says most of them are malicious. And I think that, you know, majority of it also happens to come from the opposition party. I was just wondering, you know, your view has largely not been critical. It's been, you know, in agreement with most of what has been, you know, brought up. And you almost see little or nothing wrong with this particular...
I'm just telling you, I'm not an inveterate critic of government.
Yes, and I'm saying that, is this largely the thinking of members of the opposition party, which you belong to?
You have invited me as Bisi Adegbuyi, not a spokesperson of All Progressives Conference. At best, you can say I'm representing a Afenifere renewal group here because I'm ethnic nationality. I keep on telling you guys that I wear 3 shoes. I've been part of Prt2 advocacy. I mean, we had a conference, we have a draft constitution, and I can tell you that majority of, well, don't let me say majority, substantial part of the recommendations, in my view, I've drawn inspiration from Prt2 conference. Geopolitical zones.
I totally understand the shoes that you wear. I'm simply asking, you know, whether or not, as a member of the opposition party, you have other members who share your views, or you happen to stand out even within your opposition party.
It's not for me to say, because I can't speak on behalf of other people. I'm here, Bisi Adegbuyi, in my capacity as a member of Afenifere renewal group, ethnic nationality group.
Largely looking at the modalities of this conference, do you think that it's going to be successful?
In my view, it depends on what Nigerians want, what the delegates want, the type of delegates you are sending to the conference. And then I believe it stands a chance. And it's not as if once you have the conference, once you have the constitution, all the problems militating against the Nigerian state will be solved. No, it's work in progress. I believe that the major thing we need to do is to get our political architecture right.
How do you think that we can ensure that we have the right kind of people attending this conference?
That's why you need to interface with the critical stakeholders. Look at the modalities. Who are supposed to nominate delegates to the conference, and then we are doing that at our own level. At Afenifere Union Group, we need to critically engage the people whose responsibility is to get delegates to the conference. For instance, we would discuss with the governors in our states on the need to get people, as I said earlier on, who understand the dynamics to be nominated to the conference. It's not a field, or it's not something that any run-of-the-mill politician should venture into, because we are talking about how do we reinvent Nigeria, how do we rejig Nigeria, how do we ensure that the greatest good is made available to the greatest number. All over the world, what they do is to get their political architecture right, their political system, because every other thing depends largely on it. If you don't get your political economy right, then you can't get your economy right, because it dictates everything. It is the pivot upon which everything rests.
So Afenifere is thinking of liaison, sorry Sulaiman, is thinking of liaison with the governors, but you know the governors don't seem to have a lot of representation here, do they?
I've only mentioned one area. Critical statesmen, they are Nigerians.
The other statesmen, the rest that were said about the president.
Yeah, they belong to one ethnic group or the other. These are people that have a mind of their own. It's not as if once Mr. President nominates you, you are going to dance to his whims and caprices. And in any case, what is the agenda of Mr. President? Do you know his mindset? And therefore, it would be wrong to say that once Mr. President nominates somebody, the person would not be able to exercise his wisdom, would not act according to his conviction, will not act according to his patriotic instincts. I don't agree with that.
I don't know this tweet I got here. I would like to bring it before you. Who knows, maybe he knows you, and that's why he's saying this. His name is Wale Balogun. He says, Mr. Adegbuyi is displaying the role he played that turned the pro-NACO to a talk shop, and its resolution a mere academic exercise.
Well, Dr. Wale Balogun, I don't know if it's Dr. Wale Balogun that we're in pro-NACO together. It's not likely to be. It's not likely to be. The challenge for us is that, yes, we had the pro-NACO draft constitution, and we're not in government. After the draft constitution, we then decided that, what do we do with this? Various options were open to us, and various strategies were adopted. I thought that let's be part of the political system and get a political party to subscribe to what we have decided. And if such a political party gets to power, then it becomes easy for what we have decided to be implemented. That is one area of it. There are some other people who believe that, no, we should embark on mass mobilization. Some other people advise that we should get the courts to nullify the 1999 Constitution. And indeed, Tony Nadi, who was also with us, spearheaded that move, and they went to court. You know, the judicial process in Nigeria, slow, sometimes very frustrating. So it's neither here nor there.